what kind of pushback do you get from the Black professional woman, and as compared to all these white conservatives that are attracted to you because our principles are universal? So how about we start right there? What's been your experience with the Black professional successful woman, and you counter that with your experience with the conservative white Anglo-Saxon perspective? How do you navigate those two and still stay 100% you?
Well, I think my experience when it comes to the Black professional woman is I'm pretty sure they're the ones that rallied to get me kicked off Facebook because they want to be the mother and the father, and they believe that you can do that. And I'm like, no, you can't even be two people at one time. That's silly to me. And if you're being the mother and the father, you're doing a terrible job in both roles, because we can look to see what a lot of our kids are doing now, just hanging in the streets, not wanting to really do school. They have, poor conflict resolution skills. And I think a lot of that is because the women are out here trying to compete with the men, and nobody's taking the time to actually raise the children and instill values in the children. So I definitely believe when it comes to my experience with them, they've been the ones to rally to get me. Like, I can't go live on Instagram. I've been blocked from going live on Instagram for a little over a year now. And
Oh,
I know that they are the ones that actually have the most things to say when it comes to me. So that's my experience with them. Up close and personal, they don't really try to come at me like that. It's always on a sneak tip. It's always because they know that I don't know who the person is that's making the complaints about my post, or, so they do it in the dark. But, when we're in person, everybody's smiling and, oh, girl, you tell it like it is. And the usual, the lies. But that's what they're used to, with the fake eyelashes and makeup and hair and boobs and butts, and they're used to lying. So it doesn't make a difference when it's in my face. They're going to continue to lie. When it comes to the white conservative women, I think a lot of them understand the importance of both the father and the mother. They haven't really been conditioned that they don't need a man. In my opinion, it's mostly liberal women who kind of push this whole feminism thing. And a lot of times they're lesbians. I think a lot of the feminism movement was pushed forward over the years by Black and white lesbians. And they weren't as open as some of the lesbians are today. So I think a lot of times you thought, oh, this is just a strong woman that's, really wanting to make sure we have rights and make sure we're treated equal, when all the while she don't like men anyway.
mm.
So she's trying to tell you that you don't need one because she's not interested in one. But because they weren't as open as they are now, you had no idea that, oh, this is Nikki Giovanni and she's a lesbian. You had no idea that certain people kind of got down like that, like the lady that did The Color Purple. You go back now and you look at
Alice
The Color
Walker.
Purple, yeah, and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
Alice, you had no real positive Black men in The Color Purple. You had Mr.
Harpo and Mister.
Yeah, who beat his woman. You had Harpo, who was a wuss and who let his woman beat him. It's just they weren't portrayed. But of course, then we couldn't really see it. We was like, oh, this is just the way it is. And so we didn't recognize those things. But I think conservative women don't really push that type of message that you don't need a man. They want a man. They want their man to be in charge. A lot of times they want to be at home with the kids, even if they're just sitting on the couch eating bonbons. They understand that it's okay for a man to be a man, and it's okay to be a woman. And they feel like they're not less than because they're a woman. A lot of times that's the message that's pushed, that because you're a woman, you're less than, or you're oppressed and you're treated you're not treated equally. But to me, a woman's role is just as important. Even if she's not the breadwinner or the one bringing all the finances home, if she's a really good woman, she is taking care of the home. She is helping this man succeed and do what he's supposed to do. She is making sure that she's there for the children and available for them. And they're both equal roles. And it's not that he is better than her or more than her. They just do different things. And I think conservative women are okay with being women. And I think that's the main difference. Like somehow we have conditioned women to think that because they're women, they're oppressed, or because they're a woman, their job or their role is not important. They feel like it's better to be CEO of a company than, CEO of their children and running the house and making sure that the house is still standing and things are running smoothly. And they don't understand how important it is. But we look around and we see what the kids are getting into nowadays and the things that the schools are pushing on our kids. And I just don't understand how parents are being so naive and blind to what's happening in the schools. Like you're allowing these women who have decided for whatever reason they don't want to be in relationships that produce children, but they want to come into the school and tell your child what to do. And parents are not being on top of that. And I'm like, no, you chose scissoring, that don't produce children. You don't get to now come into the school and take over and tell my child this is what she needs to do. Or no, we're gonna stick with the way things are supposed to be: God, man, woman, child. And we're gonna work around that. So that's what I found the difference to be in the messaging or how they receive me. Now there are a lot of Black women that are like, finally, yes, somebody speaking my heart. And they're out here. It's just that the other Black women have been so loud for so long. It kind of seems as if, hey, where are the ones that actually have some sense? But they do exist.